Hi survivors, it's me Preppers, and this is a test video to see if YouTube has taken me off the 2-week strike and to see if I'm able to upload again. So I guess I'm just going to briefly talk about how we have become so complacent, so lazy in our doing, in our survival. I remember, you remember, like back in the day, our grandparents were very independent people, how they had and they owned their own land and homestead and had chickens running all out in the yard and eggs, the eggs from where the chickens were laying the eggs, and that's what we would eat on a daily basis. How our grandmother made the bread that we ate and made the soap. I mean, my grandmother used to make lye soap. They never bought soap out the grocery store. Never bought bread out the grocery store. I remember we had a garden in the back of our yard. We had green onions that would grow in our grass that my grandmother would go and pick and put them on the pot. We'll eat them for dinner. And we have a yard full of greens, collard greens, and cabbage. And I remember those days. I remember going out to the country with my aunt, and she, for the holidays, Thanksgiving in particularly, how she'll make those cakes from scratch. And she have all kinds of goats and chickens and turkey running all in her yard. And for dinner, she'd go out there and cut that neck off that chicken and that turkey. She'll skin it, and then she'd go to cutting it. She'll clean it and go to cutting it. And I mean, I remember those days. And she had cows and all kinds of fruit trees and vegetables out there in the country, in Texas. And we used to travel miles to see her. And it would be all of us. I think my aunt had like a 2-bedroom. Boy, it'd be my grandfather's 13 kids plus me, and my aunt had 5 children, and their grandkids. We all just piled up in that house. I miss those days. I miss those days so much. I think about it, I want to cry, because family's not like what family used to be. And a lot of us don't have family. A lot of people don't have nobody. And I know what it's like to be around family. I had it when I was younger. Not so much now. I have my daughter, and I just remember those times. Those were the good old days, and they knew how important it was to be self-sufficient. They knew how important it was to be godly people and to help your neighbors and to be a community. I'm trying to see what happened. That happened fast, y'all. It wasn't too long ago when this was here. I'll say like 30 years ago, 30, 35 years. That's not a long time. Now the family's divided. I remember the stuff we used to watch on television was clean. It was clean TV. Clean stuff on the radio. And I remember my grandparents, since they were Christians and my grandfather was a minister and my grandmother was a missionary, we weren't even allowed to listen to the radio. Only radio station we listened to was on Sunday mornings going to church, 90.9, and that's a Christian station. I remember one time singing that Rod Stewart song, "If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, baby, let me know." I know I sound funny right now. I just woke up, but I don't know. I heard that somewhere. I think it's school or something. My grandfather said, "What you say?" I never forget it, because I was humming a song because the melody is so catchy, right? And he said, "What you say?" I was in elementary school. And I told him, he said, "Don't you ever repeat that again. Where did you hear that from?" And I can't recall. I know I didn't hear it in our house. But nowadays, everything's so foul, so filthy. The stuff our children are exposed to on internet. on the television, on the radio. It's like, what happened to the world? What happened to people? I remember how we were raised. We were raised to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. I know in the South it's common. In the North, you better not say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am to somebody in the North. They get offended, actually, the older people. They don't understand that. But we had morals. We were disciplined. We used to get our butt toe up if we did something out of line. And even at school, the teachers had permission to tear our butts up. In our community, in our neighborhood, our neighbors tore our butt up. And I remember not liking that, but now I'm so grateful for it. Everywhere I go, I have morals and respect. And people, you will have people like you forever with that and will do things and you'll be in the favor of God. But now I saw, we was going to catch a bus one day, all these men, even on a train, in the front of the line. You have women and elderly women in the back of the line. All these men jumping up in the front of the line, getting on the bus, sitting on the chairs, to the seats, and the women come and they have to stand up. I'm not saying all men are like that, but it's a lot of men that have gotten like that, that are like that, and it's sickening. I've never seen nothing like it. Will sit there and be healthy in their body and see an elderly woman standing up on a bus that's running and won't offer the seat. What happened to the world? What happened to the love in people? I mean, now you live places, you can't even speak to your neighbor. Your neighbor don't even speak to you. It breaks my heart. We have lost love for ourselves and for one another. What happened to the world? And now we have all these evil agendas. And it doesn't feel right. I know it's not normal because I feel in my spirit it's not right. Everybody's out for themselves. Everybody's out for money. Now I feel like people are out for our lives. The crime, the music, the entertainment, the food is disgusting. The food is contaminated. The air is contaminated. The water is contaminated. It's like we're all out. We're in for the fight of our lives. Every day is a struggle to survive. This just got like this recently. And if we don't come together, we can expect for it to get worse. We have to go back to those days of our grandparents where they owned everything. They was in control of their life, in control of their money, in control of what they eat, in control of the products they would use on their bodies, in control of the water. I remember my grandfather dug a well. We had a well in our front yard. My aunt had a well in at her homestead in the country. They didn't depend on the city water. They didn't depend on the grocery stores. If they went to a grocery store, it'd probably be once or twice a month. And it wasn't to get much because everything they needed, they had right there at their home, on their land, on their property. And because we have grown to depend on this system and depend on these people, we're in a bad situation. Today or tomorrow, they pull that plug, they pull that grid, they stop them grocery stores, stop this public water. A lot of us in trouble. Wouldn't know how to survive. We need to go back to those days. Raise our children how we were raised, with discipline, with love, with morals, and with respect. These kids so out of line these days. They so disrespectful. Will cuss you out, try to fight you, beat you, and kill you if you let them. So ungrateful, so unappreciative. A lot of them are. Because we didn't raise them how we were raised. If they would have gotten those beatings we got, they wouldn't be the way they are now. A lot of us are responsible for this. I miss those days. I miss those days. Stay vigilant, stay watch. Let's go back to those days, if we can. Stay surviving. ZanHarrell.com.